shit. I gotta beat Bumpy. Is that the end of the song? I don't know. I don't know if it's the end of the song, but for us, it's the grand finale of the song, as opposed to waiting around for the song that never ends. It just goes on and on, my friend. Some people started singing it, not knowing what it was. You know what I'm talking about? It's the song that never ends. You know what I mean? It goes on and on and on. It never actually ends. What's up, nerds? What are you doing? It is, Monday, February 17th, 2025. The year of the Lord. Michael Flaherty, the Lord of the Dance himself. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. I think we need some brightness. We're going to make it brighter in here. How's that now? I got to check the camera settings because I changed the lens on the camera and I realized that the video is darker than it normally is. Where? I'm just going to find the live feed of this. There we go. We have to go over here. Hello, me. How are you? How are you, me? The video is darker than it normally is. Where? How is that audio? I don't know. Oh, it's fucking loud. It's loud as shit. I'm just gonna find the live feed. Oh, it's because I have speakerphone on. There we go. We have to go over here. Hello, me. Oh, it's me. Oh, hey, it's me. How are you, me? Hey, from me, from before. Okay, there we go. All right, it's me. There we go. I mean, I don't know. I think it's brighter now. Is it brighter now? I don't know. I'm gonna go to 5. Whoa. Whoa. Oh, it's because I have speakerphone on. Okay, there we go. I don't know. Hey, man, it's Inception. That's how we do it. That's how we do it around here. We do it Inception style. Do. Remember that song from before, from the beginning? Is anybody even here today? Oh my God, there's a live chat. I should probably read the live chat. Oh my God, it's Monday. Read the live chat. What's the other buttons that we can push around here? Mask. It's too bright, I think. We're going to go down to a 1. 1. There we go. I don't know. Is it bright enough? I don't know. Fucking. We try to do this during the show. It's the time to do it. For sure. What's up, everybody? How's your Monday going? Let's see. We'll read the chat. We'll see what's going on with the chat today. Floating. Frank Dominguez, second to the chat. Ooh, that's tough. Mark coming in third. Witchy Cat was first. To the No One Will Save Us. I've been very heartened to hear about the protests today. Was there any good protests today? Let's see. Oh, I have to disable my ad blocker. Oh, let's see. We'll go AP News here. We'll take a look, see what's happening. We'll see what's happening in your neck of the world. The anti-Musk protest movement is expected to ramp up with Congress on recess. What does that mean? Hundreds of protesters are scheduled outside congressional offices and Tesla dealerships, with organizers hoping to send a pointed message to members of Congress who are on recess this week. Yeah, they're on recess this week because they don't have to work. They don't have to work normally, but they get lots of days off. You know what I mean? The backlash still hasn't approached the intensity of protests during and after Trump's first inauguration 8 years ago, but a loose coalition of Democrats and progressives is coalescing around Musk's rise as Trump's top lieutenant and his purge of the federal bureaucracy. He's a major weak link in the MAGA coalition. Ezra Levin, co-founder of the progressive group Indivisible, said of Musk, "I can't think of something that polls worse than the richest man in the world coming after your Social Security check or your Meals on Wheels or your Head Start." Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders is launching what he's calling a national tour to fight oligarchy, with stops in working-class districts of Iowa and Nebraska this week. Democratic National Committee Chair Ken Martin will hit the road for his first time as party leader as well. The newly elected DNC chair will travel to Pennsylvania... Pennsylvania, Texas, Illinois, Wisconsin, and Missouri. I was reading that oddly because I thought it was... This right here was weird. It's weird to do this like this. Like you could just make this... whatever. The formatting is weird. I thought it was like Pennsylvania, Texas. I'm like, is there Pennsylvania, Texas? Like the protesters. We'll close that. Like the protesters, Martin is expected to seize on Musk's role during a meeting with labor leaders in Pittsburgh, for example. He plans to highlight Musk's recent focus on the Department of Labor, which could put the integrity of data, like the unemployment rate and inflation rate, at risk, which is important for a stable U.S. economy and, by extension, working people. Yeah. This is the ridiculousness right here. Musk, meanwhile, has defended the swift and extensive cuts he's pushing across the federal government while acknowledging there have been mistakes. I mean, he's literally making mistakes, and we're supposed to champion him for making mistakes. Why are we supposed to be glad that there's a guy who is working so ineffectively, ridiculously, and uninformedly that they're just rampantly making mistakes that are going to affect people's lives, period, end of story. You know, the funny thing was I have a Trump supporter in my family, and I was like, we were talking with them, like, why are you supporting Trump? Like, what are you doing? I mean, it's on his agenda to close the branch of the government that you work for. What's the deal? And their answer was, Trump wouldn't do that to us. And I was like, you think he knows who you are? Odd. Democrats in Congress condemn the moves as dangerous, but without control of either chamber of Congress, there's little they can do to stop the Trump administration aside from turning to the courts. Still, 3 of the nation's largest progressive groups, Indivisible, Move On, and the Working Families Party, are coordinating this week's protest to send a clear message to elected officials in both major political parties that they must do more. Still, Democratic members of Congress may face their own voters' fury. Move On, which boasts a membership of nearly 10 million people, is hosting dozens of rallies outside town halls and congressional offices for those members who do not host public events. The group will focus on persuadable House Republicans whose votes will be crucial to opposing the Trump-Musk agenda. These House Republicans, these people will not oppose the Trump-Musk agenda. They are spineless cowards and will not stand up to anything. They're spineless cowards. They're two-faced grifters. They lie through their teeth. They won't stand up for anything or anybody. They're in it for money. And some people will say, there are Democrats that are the same way. And I would say, I agree. There certainly are some grifters and liars in the Democrat Party. I don't know. Like, let's say the mayor of New York, who recently flew to Mar-a-Lago, had a meeting with Trump, and essentially all of the charges on him were dropped without prejudice so that they could just bring the charges back up once they get him to do what they want him to do. Eric Adams is a perfect example of somebody in the Democratic Party who is corrupt, lying, grifter, talking through his teeth, lying to you, and stealing from the American people. Yes, there are frauds in the Democrat Party too, but I would argue the percentage of spineless liars and grifters in the Republican Party is significantly higher, close to 100%. I remember somebody came on here and they were crying. They were crying to me because they said, I'm going to alienate half of my audience. I'm going to alienate half of my audience by essentially castigating like the conservatives that follow my channel, that follow my content, right? Because I'm putting them all in the same basket. Like, we're not all the same, but y'all vote the same for an insane rapist. Y'all voted for oligarchs to take over. Y'all voted for egg prices, apparently, which you've completely dropped the case. And here we are, you know, but then you want to vote for that. And then you want me to be like empathetic to you that like, oh, well, you were just tricked. Like, look, I don't want a YouTube channel that has twice the viewership and it be followed by a bunch of morons that are tricked and persuaded because there was a guy who had a TV show at one point, right? I don't want a bunch of people that follow this YouTube channel to be the people that can't actually sit down, think for themselves. Why would I want to interact with that? Why is that something that I would want to interact with on a daily basis? Why is that something that I would... Why would they think that I would want to make content for them so that they could just have it, enjoy it, have me answer questions for them that are easily researched, like how to grow plants underwater, right? A ton of those people came to my channel because they want to be told what to do, like how to grow plants in your aquarium. Buy a good substrate, put plants in it, buy a good light, buy a CO2 system, learn how to fertilize the water. Right? There you go. And at every single one of... at every single step right there, right? They don't want to do any of that. Well, I don't want to buy substrate. Is there a way to do it dirted? I recently had somebody try to tell me that they've been following my channel since I told them how to dirt their aquarium, which I've never told. I'd never advised people to do that. Right? I never advised people to do a dirted aquarium. So first off, I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Second of all, those are the same people that are like, I don't want to buy a good substrate. It's too expensive. And then start crying to me about it, right? Like, that's too expensive. There's got to be a cheaper way. Like, okay, I guess there is a cheaper way. Go figure it out. I don't want to. Somebody just tell me the cheaper way. You know, I will say, something like 12 or 14 years ago, when I started, like, fucking around on YouTube and whatnot, I had a ton of videos that are like me jumping off of stuff and us pulling pranks on people and things like that, which they've long since been taken down. But there were people making content about doing dirted aquariums, and one of the guys that was making that content was selling dirt that he shoveled out of his backyard into bags and shipping it to people. And like, I'm going to tell you something. I don't want those people to follow my YouTube channel. And somebody would be like, well, why you got to be rude about it? Because fuck you, that's why. Like, what do you mean, why do I got to be rude about it? Like, why do I have to care? Why do I have to care about somebody who will not look up an answer, right? Like, just tell me the answer. Okay, let me do that for you. Let me just do the answer for you, right? Yeah, Iggy Zuniga said, actually, you mentioned Turface for baseball fields, and I actually used it. Used it with some success. Thanks for mentioning that. Yeah, but you have to go buy Turface, right? Like, Turface is technically cheaper. It's not amended. There's no amendments to it. So you do have to fertilize. But you would have to use one of the steps that I highlighted of like learning how to fertilize your water, right? Like, but you don't want to do that. They don't want to go learn some of the chemistry to their water, right? They don't want to go learn some of the chemistry. They don't want to do it. They don't want to do any of the work, but they also don't have the money to pay somebody else to do the work, right? Imagine somebody was going to DIY their house, right? And they want an amazing product at the end, but they just want to do it for $0, right? But they also don't want to like do the work, right? Like you just would go like, what am I supposed to do with this person? Like, why am I even supposed to care what that person wants, right? The person that doesn't want to do the work, the person that doesn't want to learn anything, the person that doesn't want to pay for anything, and the person that just wants somebody else to do it for them. Like, why would I want to interact with those people? Like, what's the point? What's the point in interacting with those people? I end up doing the research for them, the work for them, somehow paying for it out of my own pocket. Like, what the fuck? Like, what's the point? What's a good CO2 system? Any suggestions? I wanted Corey's, but I don't think it's going to happen. I don't even know if those guys have a CO2 system. I don't even know if those guys have a CO2. I don't know what's going on with that company. I don't know. Have a clue what's going on with that company, but I can find an Amazon link for you that is an incredibly similar product. Actually, no, I can find an Amazon link that's a better product. Here we go. What the fuck is going on here? Why won't this load a page? Oh, there we go. I don't know. Maybe I gotta clear my cookies. This is a company that that makes CO2 equipment that I would buy with my own money. Here's a link right here. It's on Amazon. Our Amazon links are affiliate links, so we get a commission if you go and buy stuff. There is the CO2 art. I don't have anything to do with these guys, but I have used their equipment over the years. I found it to be quite reliable. Their customer service is good, and it comes with a 5-year manufacturer's warranty. It's dual stage, adjustable working pressure. It's got everything you need. That is a really decent system right there. And since you mentioned Corey, they used to sell the CO2 art systems, right? They used to sell those. They don't sell them anymore. I don't know why, but they used to sell them, and they don't anymore. Joel, it's the punk rock in you. That's right. I'm considering bringing back the mohawk just so people leave me the fuck alone. You know what I mean? I'm considering it. I'm considering, because less people would bother me when I had the mohawk. So I'm 60-40 right now. I'm 60-40. I'll figure it out. And then you'll figure it out. You know what I mean? I think I'm just going to go back to my antisocial behavior. You know what I mean? You know, we might be there. We might be at that point. And I actually found you through Reddit, which is crazy. It's crazy to think that anybody actually posted my content on Reddit, because I never believed it. I never believed that they did. But maybe I should just go full, like, fucking Reddit goblin. Maybe. I might. Yes, I had the red spiked hair when I was a teen. LOL. Yeah, I had a mohawk you guys know I had a mohawk for, I don't know, decades. I had a mohawk for decades, but I don't know. I guess it doesn't matter if I have a kid now. It doesn't really matter. Who cares? No one cares. D-Rock says, but if they can't see the bigger picture, they're just as bad as the worst people. Yeah. This last week I've really been thinking about this because while I'm not like the greatest history nerd in the world or whatever, it's something that I have thought about over the years of wondering, like, the direction that we're headed as a country. Because this is not like This is not a moment zero. This isn't like the everything was peachy keen through, you know, and then all of a sudden something happened. Right. This has all been like decades. This has all been decades in the works. And when I grew up in the 1900s, right? I grew up in the 1900s, and I was surrounded by the insane levels of propaganda. I actually watched the NFL go from never having a national anthem or any bullshit like that to having these gigantic airplanes and fireworks and the national anthem shrieking out into the night. All paid for by your U.S. military tax dollars, by the way. If you guys don't know this, the national anthem and all of that shit at the beginning of the football game, baseball games, 100% with the NFL is sponsored advertisement. Hold on, I just saw something in the news. Delta Airlines plane crashes in Toronto, Canada. Let's see what happens here. We have breaking news, apparently. Breaking news to me, at least. I don't know. This was updated 22 minutes ago. We'll interrupt our previously scheduled whatever the fuck we were talking about. Delta confirms Toronto flight was carrying 80 people, including 4 crew members. Oh, this plane looks intact, although upside down. Okay. Delta Airlines confirmed that the aircraft crashed at Toronto's Pearson International Airport carrying 80 people. The flight was carrying a total of 80 people, 76 passengers, and 4 crew. Given the CRJ-900's configuration on Delta flights, a count of 80 passengers and crew means the flight was full when it crashed. CNN aviation correspondent Pete Moontine said. Delta is working on blah, blah, blah. Delta Airlines commuter plane arriving from Minneapolis has crashed at Canada's Toronto Pearson Airport. Now, I'm going to say something here. And I don't think that this is very controversial. There's fucking wind-blown ice and snow all over the place right here. There's goddamn ice everywhere. There's goddamn blowing snow everywhere. Look at this. I'm just going to land this bitch in the Arctic. Look like something caught on fire there. Damage to the plane is seen after the crash. I mean, it doesn't say... Okay. At least 15 people, including child, injured in Toronto crash landing. There are no deaths, and all crew and passengers are accounted for. Okay. Well, that's good news. We like that. We like that. I mean, we don't like injuries, but, you know. Montreal, Pierre Elliott Trudeau. Oh, from Montreal. Pierre Elliott Trudeau. Oh, that's Trudeau's dad. The airplane says that the airport says it is Canada's busiest and North America's best connected airport for international destinations. Oh, amazing. We like that. A medical helicopter was flying around. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, we've got it. The aircraft is upside down and burning. The helicopter pilot responds according to the audio. Crazy. That's fucking wild stuff, man. But good news is that everyone is okay, I think. Seems that the report is everyone is okay, and I'm 99% assured that weather had everything to do with that. You know what I mean? There's fucking windblown ice and snow all over the place, and the plane was sitting on the tarmac like it clearly flipped over. I don't know how the fuck a plane flips over like that. That shit's wild. I don't expect plane crashes to be announced or expected or planned or anything like that. So trying to ask somebody like, how do you do that is probably pointless. We got a $5 super chat from Witchy Cat earlier, which we missed. That says, sharing is caring too. Send out the channel and the stream to all your friends and social media. Fucking do it all, man, because we can't count on algorithms around here to be doing the thing. You know? We can't trust the robots. We need human intervention, right? We need humans to intervene here. And share the stream out, and we'll talk to some fucking weirdos in the chat at the very least. At some point, if they want to call in, they can. We figured it out. We have a plan. Message request. Oh my god, I have a message request. What is this? "21 minutes ago. Ignore. No, fuck you. Get away from me. Fuck you, bots. Get away from me. Bye-bye. Get away from me, bot. I'm not interested. Who's B? Who's this B? I'm going to add them as my friend. Yeah, I'm going to add them as my friend. We're going to be friends. Yeah, fuck you. I won't click what you sell me. Yeah, it's funny. I can tell you for a fact in 1995, would drive around listening to fucking Rage Against the Machine, right? I would drive around listening to Rage Against the Machine, and respect, mad respect to Zas De La Roca and the boys. Mad respect to those guys, and I agree with the sentiments of Rage Against the Machine, right? And the fact of the matter is, how many of those fucking dipshits I went to high school with grew up and then decided that, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, 6 years ago, something like that, after they were just busy hogging down on Trump's fucking imaginary wang and licking the boots, just constantly licking the dog shit off of Trump's boots, have decided that they don't like Rage Against the Machine and didn't realize that any of it was political the whole time, right? And once again, like, I'm going to circle back to what I was talking about at the beginning here. Like, why do I need to somehow spend my time catering to fucking mouth breathers who sit around with their mouth open, breathing, whenever they eat, they start to lose oxygen from their system because they're not breathing, right? Why do I have to cater to those people, right? Why would I have to or want to cater to those people that then turn around and burn Rage Against the Machine albums in their backyard as some form of protest because they never listened to the lyrics over like a 20-year fucking span of time? Never listened to the lyrics, never connected the dots, the name of the band. Like, you're walking around wearing the fucking t-shirt, you're listening to the music, for some reason you can't hear the words that you're repeating over and over and over and over again. It's not like Rage Against the Machine doesn't have a hook that repeats over and over and over again, right? And then 20 years later, start burning the albums in your backyard as now some kind of protest against the fact that you were screaming about how you were going to protest against an oligarchy and constantly kowtowing to corporate interests driving this country directly into the fucking dirt. You know, there was a plane crash today, right? Can we all agree that there has been hold on. When is this price fixing? The price-fixing class action remains in play against Delta. Here we go. So this is from 2023, okay? Filing suit in 2015. Jesus. Took 8 years for some kind of resolution, and it's not even resolved yet from the extent of my knowledge. It might be. Let's find out. Filing a suit in 2015, Filing a suit in 2015, a class of customers accuses major U.S. airlines, Delta and United, of conspiring to artificially drive up domestic flight prices. Finding that a class of airline customers have solid evidence to accuse Delta and United Airlines of conspiring to increase their own profits on domestic flight prices, a federal judge on Tuesday kept alive an antitrust case against several major U.S. airlines. The case began in 2015 when three customers, Ethan Brodsky, Jeffrey Robb, and Valbona Allah, filed antitrust class action against airlines Delta, American, Southwest, and United. From January 2009 to mid-2015, they said, the airlines conspired to keep flight capacity the same while gas prices dropped, resulting in airfares and profits skyrocketing. On Tuesday, U.S. District Judge Colleen Kohler-Cautelli found the class of airline customers presented enough evidence to survive summary judgment motions from defendants Delta and United. That's from 2023. Now, I believe that some of the yeah, here it is. So in 2017, right? In 2017, Southwest, where is it right here? Hausfeld wins a significant victory on behalf of a class of domestic airline ticket purchasers in antitrust lawsuit against major U.S. carriers. So September 12, 2023, a federal judge has rejected requests from Delta and United to exit ongoing multi-district litigation that alleges both airlines, along with two others, American Airlines and Southwest Airlines, conspired to limit domestic capacity to increase ticket prices, thus allowing the price-fixing case against Delta and United to move forward. And where is it in here? The other two, here it is. In late 2017, plaintiffs reached a settlement agreement with Southwest Airlines for $15 million, allowing the airline to exit the price-fixing MDL. In 2018, American Airlines agreed to pay $45 million to settle, thus allowing it also to exit the litigation. The court provided final approved for both settlements in May 2019, bringing total settlements to $60 million at that point. Settlement class members include anyone who purchased flights from the defendant airlines between July 1, 2011 and June 14, 2018. The case will now proceed to the class certification phase for the litigation. So essentially what happened here, to describe it, two of the four accused of price fixing agreed to settle, right? Then these other two which Delta was involved in a plane crash today, have been fighting this ever since. They've been managed to file enough paperwork over and over and over again because it's probably worth more to them to pay off a bunch of lawyers to do a bunch of stupid lawyer work than to admit your fault and move on. But that's all speculation, right? But either way, 2 of the airlines already settled and said, you know what, there's merit here or whatever, and moved on, right? Now, if you go back and listen to any Rage Against the Machine albums or songs, this is the fucking rampant corporatism, the monopolization of the United States that they were raging against, right? They were raging against the machinery that is fucking corporate monopoly, the oligarchy that has happened, the brand new robber barons of modern day times, right? Which we are now in the middle of. And the last time this happened was the Great Depression, led to the Great Depression. And one of the reasons I was thinking about this is because in the past, the American people said, we will not allow these robber barons to continue. They said no, and they fought back. And we forced them to pay all of that extra money that they were stealing. And I do believe it is stealing. They forced them to pay all that extra money that they were stealing from the workers to either pay that to the federal government so that the federal government could dole it out for them in forms of social services, which were seriously lacking in the United States, right? Or they could go ahead and dole it out to the workers themselves, right? Because wages paid, investments made, were tax deferrable, right? So if you were going to build a new facility, if you were going to buy new machinery, if you were going to invest in your supply chain, if you were going to invest in making the business more efficient, if you were going to invest in a pension for your workers so that when your workers were too old, they could afford to retire, which we don't have fucking pensions anymore because the modern day Nazi Party in the United States has been fighting against it this whole time. And the reason that I would bring that up is because the connection is profoundly strong in my mind that the powers at the time not only eventually came around once the Nazi Party became prominent in Germany, they backed them. They also had rallies in the United States to back the Nazi Party. I think famously Madison Square Garden. Here it is. On February 20th, 1939, a Nazi rally took place at Madison Square Garden, organized by the German-American Bund. More than 20,000 people attended, and Fritz Julius Kuhn was a featured speaker. The Bund billed the event, which took place 2 days before George Washington's birthday, as a pro-Americanism rally. The stage at the event featured a huge portrait of George Washington with swastikas on either side. Okay? This happened February 20th. Today is February 17th. This happened exactly What is that? 60 plus 25 is 85. 86 years and what? 3 days? No, I mean just 3 days shy of 86 years ago. Tomorrow's George Washington's birthday, right? Approximately 100,000 anti-Nazi counter-protesters gathered outside, attempting to break through lines of police officers guarding the rally on 3 occasions. The Bund rapidly declined in the aftermath of the rally, not owed to the outbreak of World War II, but with Kuhn being imprisoned for embezzlement by the end of the year and his successors being prosecuted for espionage. Right? Like, the reason I bring this up is it's one of the things that I've been thinking about in the context of American history, right? And what the American people stood up for. And I don't fundamentally believe that the American people should be putting up with this shit at all, even remotely, right? And I wholeheartedly believe that this is an example right here in American history where the Americans said, hey, we understand there's a small portion of humanity that is out of their goddamn minds. And we are more than happy to allow them to exist in the country. But we are not happy, and we're not going to allow them to take over the country. And I'm wondering, where the fuck are these 100,000 anti-Nazi counter-protesters outside, right? There's 20,000 freaks inside. Probably one of them was Ford. What's his name? Henry Ford. Here it is, right here. At 8 p.m., a loudspeaker in second floor window of a rooming house at 49th Street and 8th Avenue began blaring a denunciation of Nazis urging, "Be American, stay at home." The voice came from a record which was timed to start playing automatically. Joseph Goldstein, a former New York magistrate, exited a taxicab in front of the rally holding a summons for the arrest of Fritz Julius Kuhn concerning criminal libel suit filed earlier. Goldstein, like all other opposing efforts to gain admittance to the garden, was stopped by police, this time by Inspector Kostuma himself, denying the former magistrate entry based on the failure to present a ticket. Outside Madison Square Garden, 13 people were arrested during protests of the rally. Where is Ford? I think he was here. Here it is. Shortly after the rally, the Bund rapidly declined. 2 months after the rally, the Hollywood featured a film, Confessions of a Nazi Spy, was released by the Warner Brothers studio, ridiculing the Nazis and their American sympathizers. The Bund also came under investigation after its financial records were seized in a raid on the group's Yorkville, Manhattan headquarters in the Upper East Side. Authorities discovered that $14,000, worth about $273,000 in 2021, which was raised by the Bund during the rally, was unaccounted for. Kuhn had spent it on his mistress and various personal expenses. Kuhn was later convicted of embezzlement and sent to Sing Sing prison in upstate. How do you say this? Austening? How do you say this? We're going to go find out. Hey, say it. Say it, you butt. Can we get it? What is it? We're going to look it up. What? Okay. What? Oh, say
Oscening.
Oscening. Oscening. Okay. Oscening. Got it. Okay, I guess. We'll find out. Here it is. Kuhn's successor as the Bund's leader was Gerhard Wilhelm Kuhns, a spy for the German military intelligence who fled south from the United States in November 1941. However, cooperative Mexican authorities forced Kuhns to return to the United States, where he was sentenced to serve 15 years in prison for espionage. Like, and what's insane about all of this, right? And all of this shit that's going down here, where it's like the leader embezzled all this money, spent it on his mistress, and various personal expenses. It turns out the leader, at least the second leader, was a German military intelligence officer who fled the country, right? Like, all of this shit rings profoundly accurate, or strangely, like we're repeating American history, and I really wonder, like, where are the people that are willing to protest this bullshit, right? And in the past, we didn't allow this. We didn't allow this to happen, right? This is where a lot of the American unions came from. This is where pensions came from. This is where more and more rights for Americans essentially originated, right? When did women get their right to vote? Was it 1919, right? Oh, 1920. August 26, 2020 is the 100th anniversary. You know, 1920 women got the right to vote. And strangely enough, this is when things started to move forward, right? And I really wonder, with all of these things going on, and all of these people that were super motivated to disallow this fucking bullshit, like the robber barons, like the ridiculous work conditions, like people's rights being stripped away, figuring out how to embrace and enact the Constitution, eventually getting involved in World War II, and then the worry after World War II was the warning about the military-industrial complex that, like, wait a minute, these systems have grown so large, we need to be wary of them, right? And, you know, just this week, I was looking up for why and for how long the Republican Party has been trying to eliminate the Department of Education. And one of the reasons for attempting to eliminate the Department of Education is that the Republican Party wants you stupid, They want you mouth breathing. They want you believing that there's an imaginary guy in the sky who's going to help you. They are the traditional. They're the exact same. They're the exact same thinking people of peasants and lords in the past. They want to employ a feudal system here in the United States where they own everything and you don't own anything. And the rhetoric has been going on for decades now in their attempt to seize power, and here we are now. And we're watching it unfold before our eyes, and people want me to get excited to tell them how to do an aquarium, right? And I get it. I get that, like, if you are not paying attention and you don't want to know what's going on, and you just continue to watch fucking Mr. Beast videos or whatever the fuck it is, and drive around and kind of do your thing, and if anybody ever like pushes on you for a conversation about your weird about your weird fucking religion, you don't want to talk about it. If anybody ever wants to talk to you about your political affiliation, you don't want to talk about it. If anybody ever wants to talk to you about income and how you feel about taxes and how you feel about stuff going on, you think that the taxes should be zero for some reason, unbeknownst to me, and you should make $1 million an hour, and unbeknownst to me, but also you don't want to tell anybody any of that stuff because it's not polite to talk about these things, right? I just don't know, like, why am I supposed to kowtow to those people? Like, why would I give a fuck? You know, I really don't. I just honestly don't. I mean, I understand. Like, I'm a white dude, right? Like, I'm a white dude. I got a lady. I got a kid. I got you know. I get it, but these people want to dehumanize LGBT people. I'm not a lesbian. I'm not bi. I'm not gay. I'm not transsexual. I'm not a transvestite. I'm not any of the whatever. You know, I'm not intersex. I'm not any of these things, right? They want to dehumanize those people. They want to vilify those people. They want to cast doubt on the humanity of those people. They want to take away the rights of those people. And that right there is just the beginning, right? Because we're talking about a small percentage of the population in which the Republican Party, in cahoots with the rest of the conservatives, with the rest of the fucking robber baron billionaires that own TV stations and social media platforms, want to stuff down your throat that somehow the Democratic Party wants to make everyone gay, right? I just, you know. Oh, Donald Trump's for you. Kamala Harris is for they, them. Right? With how much money they spent to air that shit in Alabama and Arkansas and Louisiana and all the other southern states that have been attempting to essentially, like, they're just trying to bring back modern day slavery. That's all that they're trying to do. They're trying to enforce it, right? And I just, like, why? Like, why should I be excited to kowtow to those people and somehow appeal to those people? Like, why would I want to appeal to those people? I don't want to appeal to those people. I want those people to go like, what the fuck? Why doesn't that guy he doesn't like me? Like, why doesn't he like me? Right? And, like, maybe at some point it will get through to them, because treating them with kid gloves on and like, oh, yeah, it's great. It's great that you want a Christian nation, right? It's great that you want a Christian nation. Oh, cool. Let's have a Muslim nation. Oh, right? Shrieking, freaking, holding your pearls, crying, "Oh my God, what do you mean?" Right? It's a matter of like those people, if you told them you are actively promoting Sharia law, they would say, "I'm not Muslim." And by the way, these religions are all the same fucking bullshit. It's all a form of oppression to oppress people into being forced to follow somebody's fucking bizarre rules that they probably haven't even thought about in their own right. And I don't want to appeal to those people. I don't want to appeal to those people. I don't want to be, I don't want to. I don't want to, right? So I'm not going to. I'm not going to. The insanely vocal minority of people that will scream at the top of their lungs that I need to shut the fuck up because somebody voted for Donald Trump. First and foremost, I don't even wholeheartedly believe that Donald Trump actually won this election. I really don't. I really don't because of the self-reporting that they have done. Donald Trump was literally up on stage talking about how Elon Musk fucked with the computers because he knows the computers, right? Elon Musk was with his kid in an interview, and his kid in the interview was repeating fucked up shit that I'm sure that he's heard his dad say. And it casts a lot of doubt in my mind on them actually winning this election. Whether or not we'll ever know, I don't know. I don't know if we'll ever know. I don't know if we'll ever know the actual answer. And do I disagree with the Democratic Party on a lot of stuff? Yeah, for sure. 100%. I do. I disagree with them a lot. But when it comes down to which of the two parties are at least attempting to make good on enacting the Constitution and expanding people's rights and expanding people's access to the ability to live a better life, the Democratic Party is 100% winning that argument every day. Few people seem to see the irony of Americans today being so enamored of Squid Games when 10 to 20 years we could be living it. No, I think one of the bigger issues isn't necessarily people being enamored with the Squid Games. It's a fantastic show. It's an amazing show that was very well written, very well filmed, very well edited. As a matter of fact, they did such a good job with editing it. They were able to dub English over top of Korean, and it still definitely makes sense and have most of the nuances carry over, even though it is a different style, especially from when you directly compare them with American mannerisms and whatnot. There's sort of an exaggerated sort of acting style that seems to come out of Korea mostly. Most of the Korean productions that I've seen, it's sort of like an exaggerated emote, right? Like the expressing of the emotions is sort of exaggerated in order to, I think, convey a higher level of what the character is feeling. It was a fantastic made show. To me, I think the bigger disappointment. The bigger disappointment was how many Americans missed the story, right? And it's not even it's not an underlying story. It's not, oh,
it's just nuance, like it's confusing, they sort of just like, they like slipped it in there. As a matter of fact, when these air quote intellectuals will go on fucking YouTube like Ben Shapiro and say that Squid Games is pro-capitalism like a fucking maniac, like clearly has to be paid to say things that are so categorically stupid, or never watched it, which is even worse. It's even worse to have not watched it and then go on and then be saying that it's pro-capitalism, because the entirety of the story is explaining how the system that the characters in Squid Games are living in, the world that the characters in Squid Games are living in, is that money rules their life. And in a capitalist system, it has driven people to extremes in order to capture money, right? Both of the candidates were garbage, but let's be honest, Kamala was and is a joke. Kamala was a fucking prosecutor. Kamala graduated college. Kamala is not a rapist. Kamala doesn't go up on stage and brag about how you could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and the mouth breathers that follow him would vote for him anyhow. Kamala doesn't brag about grabbing people by the pussy. Kamala doesn't release scam bitcoins. Kamala doesn't use religion to make money. Like Donald Trump sells $100 Bibles that are signed by him. Like the list is fucking so categorically extensive as how big of a piece of shit Donald Trump is. For someone to say that, I don't know what's wrong with your fucking mind, okay? Like, admit that Donald Trump is a giant piece of shit that is stealing from the United States of America, who's robbing America blind, and you like it, okay? Just admit that. You want him to go into Gaza and attack Gaza. You want him to invade Greenland. You want him to invade Canada. Just admit it. Admit that you want utter fucking chaos and you need a king to feel safe, right? Like you want a king to just tell you what to do and take everything from you and sprinkle little scraps of food down while you starve to death, right? Like admit it. Just admit what you want. Stop lying to me. Stop lying to chat. Stop writing into chat, oh, Kamala was a joke. How? Right? Because if someone came up to me and said, hey, I've got an egg salad sandwich. It's not very good. It's not a very good egg salad sandwich. And I've got this other sandwich that is fucking diarrhea from a baboon's ass that was sitting out in the sun covered in biological waste I found out back behind a laboratory somewhere. Which sandwich are you going to eat, right? Are you going to eat the maybe not so good egg salad sandwich? Like, all right, egg salad sandwich. Don't say POWs are losers and not good at their job. What are you talking about? Oh, Kamala doesn't say POWs are losers and not good at their job. Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry. I misread that. I'm not good at my job. Reading is fundamental. Bobby's hobbies and how-to reviews. Dude, as much as Donald Trump is a piece of crap, Kamala was a bigger one. She couldn't even do an interview without being edited. Okay. I want you to take those words and stuff them right up your ass, considering how many interviews has Donald Trump been in and been heavily edited by Fox News? 100? Right? If you want, go back and watch Donald Trump on Joe Rogan, where Joe Rogan asks him over and over and over again, what was the first day of being president like? Right? Joe Rogan sat there one-on-one with Donald Trump, well, yeah, right? And continued to ask him, hey, what was the first day like, right? What was the first day like? And Donald Trump kept rambling on about how big the hallways are in the White House, how tall the ceilings are in the White House, right? And then Joe Rogan would ask him again, what was the first day? What was that like, right? Because Joe Rogan was trying to ask him about like how profoundly strange was the feeling that you are now, right? That you are now in the most powerful position in the country. He reiterated it over and over and over again. Over and over and over and over again. And Donald Trump just sat there and started talking about, did you know that the Abraham Lincoln bedroom? Right? And somehow, with that, even just that one interview, right? Even just that one interview, now the talking point is Kamala Harris. There was some editing to an interview that she did. What was it, on 60 Minutes? October 24th, the Fox News Channel's recent segment about Donald Trump's surprise visit to a barbershop in the Bronx resembled a campaign ad for the former president's re-election. Trump was seen taking questions and making small talk with black and Hispanic barbershop customers and workers, some of whom were wearing Make Barbers Great Again shirts. The visit was part of Fox and Friends co-host Lawrence Jones' ongoing barbershop interview series, but the version of the visit was shown on television was, to borrow a hairstyle metaphor, a crop cut. Fox edited out many of Trump's rambling comments and false claims. Participants had to repeatedly follow up when Trump meandered away from the original point of their question. CNN reviewed a more complete video of the barbershop visit that was uploaded to Instagram on the day of Trump's appearance in the Bronx and compared it to the segments that were shown on Fox and Friends on Monday. Fox edits omitted numerous Trump tangents and exaggerations, a striking decision, giving Trump's recent attacks on CBS Magazine's 60 Minutes for editing and reviewing his opponent, Vice President Kamala Harris, earlier this month. Trump's complaints about 60 Minutes center on an edit of Harris's comment about the relationship between Israel and the United States. He has charged that CBS manipulated the Harris interview to make her look better and demanded that CBS release the unedited transcript of the interview, which CBS has declined to do. Ironically, however, Fox edited several of Trump's recent appearances on the network, including his visit to the barbershop. And some of the edits certainly make him look better. So none of this shit fucking matters to you at all, right? Like, your point is that there was a 60-minute interview that was edited, right? Like, to somehow wander around out in the rain with your mouth open and not fucking drowned is mind-boggling to me. Like, how have you not fucking drowned at this point? When your point is 60 Minutes edited their content. Of course they do. But you don't give a fuck that Fox News edits their content, right? Like, you don't care. Like, it doesn't matter to you at all. The only thing that matters is that Trump told you that this is a problem, right? He is incompetent too, but Kamala is even more so. Okay. To somehow sit around and think that the president of the United States is going to do all of the things is, like, fundamentally incorrect. There's a whole bunch of people, right? There's a whole bunch of people that work in the administration. Upwards of 10,000 people, right, that run the administration. For anybody to even expect that one person could fundamentally understand and know all of the things that are going on at all times as the president is factually incorrect. Like, that's not even possible. It's not even possible for the president to know all of the things that are going on, right? They rely on the administration, all of the people that work for them, to do all of these things, right? And by the way, That's how a business works. That's how a school works. That's how a sports team work, right? Like do you expect a coach on your sports team to like yell out to the goalkeeper to not let them score every time somebody gets close to score? Like, is there some kind of world where the hockey coach has to skate out on the ice every time someone takes a slapper at the 5-hole, right? Like, oh, block the puck, right? Is there an expectation that like that's how the administration functions? Now, I could understand. You don't like Kamala Harris, probably because she's black, probably because she's a female. It's fine. Do whatever the fuck you like. But if you want to actually compare the administrations of the people that worked and or would work for the Kamala Harris administration and the people that would work for the Donald Trump administration, like the Heritage Foundation, like Project 2025, which, by the way, how many fucking conservatives and Republicans have I talked to that said, Donald Trump doesn't know anything about Project 2025, except for they brought in J.D. Vance, they brought in Stephen Miller, they brought in all of these people from Project 2025, and now they're doing it, right? Mickham says, in my opinion, choosing to trust only one side is the danger, no matter what side you choose to listen to, which is why I said earlier in this stream, Eric Adams should be continue to be prosecuted and continue to be getting in trouble, right? But guess who's letting him off? Guess who's letting him off now? Donald Trump, right? Like, if you want to understand, like, the level of corruption with Donald Trump, Eric Adams is a guy that's a Democrat. God, I got the phlegm today. Hold on. Eric Adams is a Democrat that ran and talked shit about Trump the entirety of his to be the mayor of New York. He was indicted, and I don't know exactly what the charges are, but he was indicted, and they're fraud-based. All right, hold on. Let me look what the actual indictment was. Eric Adams indictment. This is in September 26th of 2024. Damian Williams, the United States Attorney for the Southern District of New York. James E. Dennehy, the Assistant Director in charge of New York Field Office in the Field Bureau, the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Let's see, charging Eric Adams, the mayor of New York, with bribery, campaign finance, and conspiracy offenses. The case is assigned to the U.S. District Judge Dale E. Ho. So he was brought up on bribery, campaign finance, and conspiracy offenses, right? He was indicted for this. In the last week, Eric Adams flew to Mar-a-Lago, met with Trump, and now all of these charges have been dismissed under the memo that they put out says basically is Eric Adams will do what we want in regards to the immigration laws that Trump wants to pass in New York. Somehow the mayor is just going to pass laws with impunity, I guess. So if you want to talk about like corruption, Democrats and Republicans, right? The Democrats were already, if supposedly if the Democrats controlled everything, like the spooky fucking boogeyman Fox News will tell you, right? If the Democrats controlled everything, why were they putting their own guy? They're indicting their own guy, right? Senator Menendez is another criminal Democrat indicted by the Biden DOJ. That's right. The president is not everything for sure. We have to have checks and balances. All right, like anyhow, I'm changing. What the hell was I talking about? Eric Adams. Oh yeah, the Biden administration. If they supposedly controlled everything, why were they indicting their own guy? What's the reason for it? Right? I'm not saying the Democrats are perfect. I'm not saying I want the Democrats everything. Right? What I do want is corporations to be broken up and anti-monopoly laws be applied that are already on the fucking books in the United States. It's not even write a new law. It's enforce the laws that already exist. I want the billionaires to either pay their taxes and stop extracting money out of our fucking economy, because the economy will not work when the robber barons take the money out of it and hide it away like fucking Scrooge McDuck, which is what they're doing. I want them to either pay their taxes or I want them to put it back into the system, and they need to be forced to do it. There needs to be coercion in order for them to be forced to do it, and the coercion is jail time. Right? The coercion involved in tax fraud is jail time. Right? I don't want a king. I want expanded democracy. I want people to be able to vote easier and more effectively. And I want them to have to fucking vote. Right? If you don't want to be part of a democracy, that's fine. You don't get any fucking tax breaks at the end of the year then. Okay? If you're going to get tax breaks, if you get to live here and have all of the fucking benefits of all of the taxpayers, like fucking roads, like power lines, like internet, like all of the things that the taxpayers have paid for over the fucking years, all of the infrastructure that is here, like bridges and fucking airports and the Federal Aviation Administration, right? Like the air traffic controllers that, by the way, the Republican Party tried to fucking fire all of them, okay, in my lifetime. If you've forgotten that Ronald Reagan tried to break the air traffic controllers union by hiring a bunch of fucking scabs. If you want to talk about the executive branch having too much power, it started to coalesce under Ronald Reagan. It started to coalesce under H.W. Bush, who was the former fucking head of the CIA, who was also the vice president of Ronald Reagan, who, by the way, just a few years later, ushered in his son to be president, right? And due to the tragedy of 9/11, people got distracted as fuck that guy was basically 3 brain cells of being fucking put into a mental institution, who was a former coke user, who put a goddamn baseball team into bankruptcy, right? In Texas? What the fuck? Then that guy goes on to be president, and that guy coalesced power under the Patriot Act and also pushed through Citizens United, right? So to sit around and act like the Republicans, we're just here and, like the Democrats are bad, like, and the Democrats are bad because the executive branch has so much power and influence. Where the fuck do you think that power was coalesced? It was coalesced under the Republican presidents, directed by dipshits like Mitch McConnell, Rush Limbaugh, and all the fucking cast of characters going all the way back. I'm not going to sit here and name them all. This has been going on the entirety of my life. I am 44 years old. This has been going on the entirety of my life. Why was I a punk rock kid, if that's the best way you want to envision me in your mind? I listened to a ton of industrial music. I listened to a bunch of other music. But I was a punk rock kid that said, fuck this stupid establishment that is butt-fucking the world, the planet, right? We would let corporations go on TV and guilt-trip people into not recycling, right? We would guilt-trip people into we would allow the fucking cigarette companies to go on TV and tell you fucking cigarettes are safe, man. We had to outlaw that shit. There's motherfuckers out here that are 25 years old. They've never seen a cigarette ad in their entire life. You know why? We had to fucking outlaw it. It had to be outlawed. We had to say, no, you can't fucking do that shit. You can't go on fucking TV and tell people you're smoking cigarettes is great. You can't do it anymore. And then you know what happened? They started losing business because they weren't being sold. Oh, the fucking Marlboro Man is dope, even though most of them got cancer. How many of the Marlboro Men died of fucking crazy-ass cancer? I know one of the guys had all of his fingers cut off. Marlboro Men that died of cancer. Jesus Christ. In 2014, for the longest time, the Marlboro Man... Oh, get the fuck out of here. I don't want to log in. I don't want to fucking log in. I don't want to log into your website. We've allowed this shit to happen. We've allowed this shit to happen to the fucking internet, man. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, we don't have enough memory to open this page. Oh shit, I forgot to open our hold on a minute. I forgot to go in the green room. What you got? What are you doing in here? What are you doing in here? Where's my audio level at? I can't even tell. Uh-oh. Hello? Gubna?
Well, I had to turn. I was listening on the other. I didn't want to. Yeah, whatever. Hello.
Yeah, we double up on this show. It's part of the fucking, it's part of the pizzazz. You know what I mean?
I understand.
I gotta reopen my window here. I don't have enough memory. It's crashing. Like, how many
my
of the
bad.
fucking Marlboro Men? I know one of them had to get all of his fingers cut off, right?
I thought there were like 3 that had died, but I might be wrong.
It said 4, but I had to
All
log
right.
into the archived New York Times website, and I refuse to do it. I refuse. And we're fucking
Yeah.
logging in. Quit trying to fucking track me at every turn so you can sell me tchotchkes made by fucking Chinese slaves, man. Like, what the fuck, dude? It's out of fucking control. I have to make an account to read your fucking shit from 7 years ago. My fucking balls. They're over here. Come lick them. Fucking assholes. God damn it.
But how do you really feel?
Fuck! That's how I feel.
I know. I hear. Obviously.
All right, here you
been
go.
a
Marlboro Man
stressful
dies again. I had to find the actual archive. This is fucking ridiculous.
week. Okay.
We had to go way back. You know what I mean?
In the
way
Wayback
back.
Machine.
We're going
I
way
do
back.
log in there.
We're going way back to buttholes and whatnot. Hey, who wants to talk about buttholes today on this show? God damn it. Anyhow. Eric Lawson, who portrayed the iconic Marlboro Man in print ads for Marlboro cigarettes from 78 to 81, died January 10th at his home in San Luis Obispo. Cause of death, respiratory failure due to chronic obstructive COPD. There we go. He was 72. Smoker since the age of 14, Lawson became the last of the Philip Morris rugged cowboys to fall victim of the smoking-related disease since the character was introduced in the mid-50s. The Marlboro Man campaign was conceived as a way to popularize filtered cigarettes, which at the time were considered feminine, because only bitches use fucking filters, right? Only
Right.
dames.
Right. That's classy broads.
Yeah, Wayne McLaren died of lung cancer in 1992. David Millar died of emphysema in 1987. David McLean. Oh, Wayne McLaren, David McLean died of lung cancer in 1995, and Dick Hammer died of lung cancer in 1999. You walk around with a
What
name like
perfect
fucking
name.
Dick Hammer.
When
Is
not
he-
the
yeah,
Marlboro
it's like-
Man, he's a porn star.
Well, Dick Hammer died of lung cancer at the age of 69.
69, really? That's even
69,
better.
baby.
I'm so sorry.
With the fucking dick hammer. Let's see. McLaren, who had a pack and a half a day smoking habit, succumbed to lung cancer at 51. Yeah, it's like it's weird, you know? McLaren's mother, Louise, told the Times that some of McLaren's last words were, "Take care of the children. Tobacco will kill you, and I am living proof of it." While McLaren fought hard against the cancer invading his body, undergoing chemotherapy and radiation after having a lung removed, Sexy was anything but the proper description of the man as he lay near death. So it's like, this is the shit I had to put up with as a kid. It's probably why I fucking smoked cigarettes, because there was ads for smoking everywhere when I was a kid. You know? Like, there are people that are like 30 years old right now that have no idea.
Never seen it.
They've never seen the ads. They don't even. You talk to them about a Marlboro Man, and they're like, "What do you mean? What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Those are words I don't understand." And hold on, before I get fucking distracted any further with my fucking tirades and madness, I'm gonna say thank you so much to Lady Guinevere for the $47 super chat.
We're gonna
I was
have
gonna
a
say something
campfire.
inappropriate. I'm not going to. Thank you very much. It's amazing. I was gonna do a callback, but it was just gonna be crass, and you got to understand. Like I was thinking about this the other day. All right, I got to tell you something, Witchy. I told you this before.
Okay, I'm listening.
I told you this
I know.
before, and we want to talk about it
Okay.
here on the show for a second. That like
All right.
there is like, I remember somebody that was like, "Oh my God, you're like a fucking wild dude, man. Like you're just kind of saying whatever you're saying, and you're just down with saying whatever you got to fucking say, and blah blah blah, and this and that and the other thing." And I'm like, I wish I could explain to these people that like this is me filtered. You know what I mean? Like I'm a fucking raging madman in my mind. You know, like it's out of fucking control in there. Like I don't know. Like I try to explain to people that like there's so much like absurdist fucking crazy nonsense that I find to be hilarious, and then people just get offended by it. And it's like it's admirable that somebody like I don't like Dice Clay. I don't like Andrew Dice Clay. I don't like that guy. I don't think he's good. I don't think he's funny. But I do admire the fact that he's like, "Oh, I'm just insane. Check it out. Like, fuck it. That's my thing. So I'm just going to go with it." Right. Like, I do admire
Right.
that aspect of that dude. Right. I don't think he's like unfunny. It's just not the best. Right.
Right.
Like,
It's
I'm
just
more
not
of
yours.
I'm more of a Mitch Hedberg guy. I'm more of a George Carlin guy. I'm more of a,
But you want some intelligence.
yeah. And here's the weird thing is like, I was actually talking to Vicky's cousin the other day about, they were like, have you been to any good shows? And it was like, not really. I don't really go to shows anymore. I went to so many in my youth. Like I was constantly at live events and shit all the time. That it's like, I don't even know if I want to go anymore. Right. Like,
Yep.
like I'm never going to be able to see Prince again. You know what I mean? Like Prince is dead. So I'm never going to be able to see Prince. So like, what the fuck? Right. And then like,
Right.
like there might be a band. There might be a band out there, but I can't think of a band that like, oh my God, I got to go to the show. Like I got to go to the show. You know what I mean? To have like seen the
There's
show.
not a Bowie or a Zepp or anything like that, you know.
I don't
Yeah.
like Led Zeppelin, and I don't want to talk about it.
Well, all right, that's fine. It was just a
I don't like
big
Led Zeppelin.
band
They
that
stole
many
far too
people
many
knew.
songs. They stole too many songs for them to actually be good. Were they good performers?
Okay.
Yes. Were they good musicians? Probably not, because they stole most of their content, right? Like we just don't. We as humans shouldn't like that. Where you're like,
okay.
that's my song
enough.
I wrote, and you're like, no. Here's the copy of it from 5 years ago that somebody else wrote that sounds, well, you know, exactly the same, just not performed with so much fucking dick thrusting and screeching, right? There's not so many high notes and fucking extraordinarily tight pants where everyone can see your fucking hang down. Why we got to see that? I don't know. Maybe it worked. I'm sure it worked. Do you think Jimmy Page got laid? I think he did.
Oh yeah. Well, with
Anyway.
guitarists, you always get to see the cum face, so you know what to expect. So it makes it a lot easier.
You
But
know.
that's a whole different discussion
You
for
know
another
what I
day.
mean. You know what I'm talking about. But yeah, that's why I don't like Led Zeppelin. It's like, were they good performers? Yeah. But like, if you stole all your ideas and then you try to like say that they're yours, right? It's like, let's say
where you're going, though.
Okay, here's a good example. Like
All right.
a while back, we went and saw Hell's Bells, right? Hell's Bells is an AC/DC cover band, right? That's all chicks. Like it's Belles, like bells, like Belle of the Ball, right? They're fantastic. They're wonderful performers. Now,
For a good long time.
if they were playing AC/DC songs and then they were just like, yeah, no, these are our songs, right? You'd be like, wow, you perform them with such verve and enthusiasm and everything. Like, I really appreciate that part of it. But you didn't actually write these. There's this guy, Bon Scott, or this guy, other Bon Scott replacement guy. I don't know what the fuck his name is. Or
Never remember his name.
Angus Young and the other guy.
Angus,
You know,
there it is.
you'd be like, there's all these guys in the band called AC/DC, and they play the exact same songs, but they did it like 40 years before you did. So what the fuck are we doing here, right? Well, like Led Zeppelin is like that, right?
Right.
But they paid off a bunch of the lawsuits that were brought against them. They paid off a shitload of lawsuits, right?
Yep.
Mark says, I wish Rage Against the Machine would play a lot more. There was they were doing a tour, and Zach De La Rocha like broke his arm or something. And I think the biggest issue is that Zach seems to be having health issues more than anything, and I don't think it's like he's sick or whatever. It's just he's old, right? He's an older guy, and he's gonna go fucking ape on stage,
Right.
and it's taking its toll. And you're like, I think he hurt his back and his leg, and I think he broke his arm the last time they toured or whatever.
Yeah.
And they had to cancel it. Hold on, I gotta look this shit up. Mark says also No Effects. Yeah, I've seen No Effects a bunch of times. I've seen Rage Against the Machine. I've seen No Effects. I saw Black Flag with fucking Henry Rollins, which is ridiculous and not good. But I did see Circle Jerks with Keith Morris, and I actually got to meet Keith Morris and hang out with him like after the show. Which Keith Morris is like the original Black Flag singer, if you don't know, and he was a badass dude. He went on to start the Circle Jerks, and really cool dude, and was one of the nicest musicians I've ever met in my entire life. So yeah, I mean, trust me, like, you know, like I've fucking been there. So yeah. But yeah. What did Zach De La Rocha do? I think he harmed himself on accident. Like it wasn't on purpose. Zach De La Rocha.
Iggy Pop is made by Rubbermaid.
What's that?
Zip Gun. Zip Gun said that Iggy Pop is the only old guy who can be a madman on stage and still not break everything. And I said that's because Iggy Pop has been made by Rubbermaid.
I think. Well, I don't know if that's it, but I think that like, so first off, I think if he hurts himself, he just keeps doing it, right?
Right.
Like I think he just is like, fuck it, I'll just keep going, even though I am hurt. So I think there's that. And then
Eventually
also on the other side of it, he has.
It'll be a hell of a show.
What's that?
Eventually, I'll die on stage. It'll be a hell of a show.
Possibly, but also the other side of it is that like he's a huge fitness enthusiast. So I think that he's used to like constantly working out, even if he is hurt, regardless. So it's like he just basically is like,
Right.
okay, like my life is just I'm in pain from working out. This just another day. Like he's just gonna keep doing it. So, which is fine. And he is sort of obsessed. But like, I saw Iggy Pop at some big like concert like where there's a ton of bands played, and I wasn't like that enthusiastic. Like there just isn't that many hits that I was like, oh yeah, I gotta be here and watch this, you know. And plus it was like daytime out, you know, and you're like, I don't even know if this is rock and roll if you're playing at 3 p.m. You know what I mean? Like it's just not right. Does it make
Kind of
sense?
how I felt about the last time I saw White Zombie at Ozfest. I was like,
Oh
it's
yeah,
a much better
yeah.
show, and I see them
Yeah.
at night than it is at 2 in the
You're like,
afternoon
yeah,
at the
you're like,
Gorge.
yeah, you're gonna see like, yeah, like you see White Zombie at the Gorge at 4:30 in the afternoon. It's just like hot and sweaty. The sun's just coming down. It's beaming down
coated
in
in
everyone's eyes,
dust.
and they're like, "All hail to the dark Satan, fucking Lord!" Right? Like, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And you're like, "Dude, what are you doing? Like, stop! It's not even dark out. Like, how can you be creepy right now and dark?" And I'm fucking, I'm of the, right? And you're like,
No.
hey man, the sun's out and this lady has got like a string bikini on. Her fucking tits are basically out right over here. Like, what the fuck is going on? The sun is shining. I'm dying of fucking heat stroke. You know, like stop
Dehydration,
burning,
heat stroke, and-
stop burning through the ditches or whatever. Well,
Right.
sorry, that's Rob Zombie or whatever. You know, in your Dragula, right? Isn't that how that goes?
And there's right, and there's enough weed smoke coming from everywhere that I may not actually even be at the Gorge. Yeah.
This is what it was. Okay, so so I don't know if he had the broken arm at the same time, but I know that he I saw him performing at the time with a cast on his arm. So I'm not seeing the story from that because most of the stories are showing up that in regards to a YouTube video in July shows Rage Against the Machine frontman limping through a performance of Bullet in the Head after tearing his Achilles tendon, which this is what all the guys in their 50s do, right? They go out and they play a softball game. They drink about 6 or 7 beers during softball, and they're like rounding third base and pop their Achilles tendon. And you can ask Tom Brady about it if you want. But this always happens. This is so common. This is so common with like all the construction guys I know in their 50s eventually will show up on some crutches with the fucking boot on for like 3 months while their Achilles tendon heals. And I think he has had extended injury. Yeah, Rage Against the Machine canceled their 2023 North American tour over singer Zach De La Rocha's foot injury. So he continues to like injure the foot and whatnot because this happened in 2022. So it seems like the next year he's still having problems with his foot. So that's why they're not touring anymore. And I do know that they had like personal differences or whatever, which was, I think, admittedly hard to get over for a while, and eventually like worked it out. Then they started touring. It was going really well, and then he like fucking blew out his Achilles, and then I guess they started it up again the next year because he injured it in July 11th, 2022. So then they started a tour the next year, 2023, and then they had to cancel it. And the drummer Brad Willick said on Instagram that it was unlikely the band would ever return to the stage. So between all of these things, it seems doubtful that they'll come back, but also who the fuck knows? They're rock stars. Right. Who knows?
Right.
But I've seen them play live. So mark that off the bucket list. I don't have a ton of I don't have a ton of like bucket list bands that I need to see. Like I saw Prince. I saw, what did I see? I saw REO Speedwagon once. Right? Like
Speedwagon many times.
If there was a show, I went to it. Like it's basically what it is. Yeah. I mean, like I went to a show that was like Sky Cries Mary. Remember those fucking weirdos?
I do.
Like I've been to.
I've seen the Cult. I've seen
ZZ Top. I've seen.
Yep. Nice.
I've seen every industrial band I really wanted to see from Front 242, Frontline Assembly, KMFDM. I used to party with KMFDM, with 2 of the guys from KMFDM. I've seen Skinny Puppy. I've never seen Einstürzende Neubauten because I don't know if they ever played anywhere. I don't know if that's a thing that they did, right?
Right.
I've seen Sonata Arctica. I saw Sonata Arctica when they came all the way from, like, what are they from? Fucking Norway or some shit. I saw Sonata Arctica. They came to Seattle. The show had like 30 people at it. It was fucking wild. So I saw it, like, that's a perfect example of, like, I saw a band that would headline a giant stadium in Finland,
30
right?
people.
With 30 people at whatever the off-ramp was called at the time. I don't know what the off-ramp was called at the time. Like, I saw shows at the DV8. I saw shows at the Rock Candy. I saw shows at the off-ramp. I saw shows at the...
That place in Ballard.
What's that?
Oh, I was trying to think of the place in Ballard. Oh, fuck. Not okay. Okay. Go ahead.
The okay what?
Okay, cafe.
Okay,
Cafe. Where were you going?
Yep. So, like, all of the, like, if you go back and watch the movie Singles, and people are like, oh, she said, how about somebody my daughter do, right? And you're like, sabate batai, right? And you're like, it's that guy, right? I went to all those places. I saw shows in all of those places. Like, the guy, who is the guy from Pearl Jam that plays guitar? Mike McCready? Isn't that the guy?
Yep, it's McCready.
Like, my old roommate was the guy who taught him how to play guitar.
What is the name of that place in Ballard? Hold on a second, I've got to go find it. Now
I
it's
don't
my
know.
turn to be lost.
There was the Java Jump in Tacoma. There's so many crazy places I saw shows and whatnot, you know, and they're all gone now, right? Like, you know, in Seattle, there was this huge scene, right?
It was
And
so
it's
great.
like, and people would go like, "That's where Nirvana came from." Okay, fucking chill, dude. It's where Soundgarden came from. It's where fucking Alice in Chains came from. It's where you know, the list goes on. Screaming Trees, right? Like, come on, guys. Mudhoney.
It was the Tractor I was trying to think of.
The Tractor. Oh yeah, we should. Yeah, into the Tractor.
Exactly. I'm like, how did I blank on the Tractor? Anyway, go on.
You know, it's like, I just don't know, like, what show I would need to see at this point in time. Like, we used to harass Dave Matthews, okay? Like, we used to fuck with Dave Matthews. You know the Dave Matthews guy? The Dave Matthews Band?
Dance marching.
That guy? Right? That guy? He fucking would come into the restaurant and we would kick him out of the restaurant. We made a sign that said no Dave Matthews seating and kicked him out. My friend Rice kicked Dave Matthews out of the restaurant. He wasn't allowed.
You're too boring. Get out.
I have seen Turbo Negro. I have seen them because CKY used to come to town. And many years ago, CKY, we befriended them. Who was Bam Margera's brother? What was his name? Down or what the hell was his name? I don't know. The other Margera. Either way, when they came to town, they got kicked out of what was the off ramp called after it was the off ramp? There's a name for it.
My keyboard's
El Corazon. That's what it was called after. I can't believe I couldn't remember that.
Was it.
So CKY got fucking booted out of El Corazon. They weren't allowed because they trashed the place too bad and apparently like threw a bunch of shit out of windows and stuff. So we partied with those weirdos when they were fucking in town when I was much younger, you know, because I was svelte and crazed. El Corazon is known as the CBGBs of Seattle. I'm trying to think of like the amount of shows that I've been to at El Corazon. I can't even remember because I always called it the off ramp,
Right.
just to give them a hard time. Always, and it's hard to remember that it was El Corazon. It's a fucking dump. I mean, it's an absolute dump. I don't know if it's any good now. I think it's closed now, and they're going to rebuild the building or something. I don't know. Who the fuck cares? None of it's real
Big
anymore.
black painted cinder block building with horrible acoustics that we insist on putting bands into.
Like there's the Phoenix Underground. Like how many times did I see bands at the Phoenix Underground? Like, my buddy's band played at the Phoenix Underground, and we both got kicked out of the Phoenix Underground because we were underage.
Whoops.
Yeah. And it was like, we got kicked out after they played because we were drinking in the Phoenix Underground. And somebody was like, those guys are underage. They can't be in here. And so we got kicked out after he played in the Phoenix Underground.
Right. You're totally fine being on stage, but afterwards, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Well, no, this was a while after the show.
The Tractor, the Sunset, the Vogue, Phoenix, the Showroom, the Jewel Box.
Oh yeah. So, it's just it's kind of like it's one of those things. Like for years, I drank at the Pioneer Square. I drank at the Pioneer Square Hotel bar that I don't even think it has a name. Does it have a name? What do they call it? The saloon?
Yeah, it's not the it's just the saloon.
And the Pioneer Square Saloon is in the bottom of the Pioneer Square Hotel. And I drank here for years. Like this was my haunt. I'll show it to you. I'll show you guys a picture.
Here's my bar stool.
This was my haunt. This was my bar stool. This was my spot, right? Like I would hang out in this saloon in the shadow of the fucking Dick building. It's a dick right here. This is the head. This is the shaft. This is the balls. It is a dick and balls building. Yeah, I mean, like this. I spent more time than I can explain to you being downtown, partying with all sorts of insane people. It's like it's where I met Jason Momoa. Like, it's where I met what's his name? The old bass player for Soundgarden, Kim Thale.
Okay.
The list just kind of goes on of all these like Seattle legends.
Pioneer Square was the place. They would just go down
still
and
is.
drink.
I mean, it's still there. It's just not.
I know.
It's not right. And I don't drink anymore. You know. And
yeah, that takes some of the fun out of it.
And the big issue is that like a lot of these people died. You know, Jerry fucking died.
Yeah.
Dave died. John was like my best friend, and he died. You know, and a lot of those people are all gone. You know, and they're not going to come back. It's not going to happen. You can't. There's no bringing them back. You know, and so it's like it's one of those things where it's like I don't not to make it sound like, you know, like I don't give a fuck about anything, or I don't give a fuck about this or that or the other thing, but it's more of an explanation that like the entirety of my life has been more or less dedicated to the fact that workers deserve rights, humans deserve rights, irregardless of if you suck a dick or if you pray to Satan or if you believe in Jesus or if you know, whatever, the list goes on and on. Like I was of a class of people that was treated like shit, right? Because I had a mohawk, because I have tattoos, because I was a fucking punk rock kid, because of this and that and the other thing, right? Like I was treated like shit from a certain class of people, and it was the people that were the haves versus the have-nots, right? Like I'm from a blue-collar family. I have relative privilege from the standpoint of that if you have your bullshit American fucking neo-Nazi party where everybody's hanging out having beers and shit, I could blend in. You know why? Because they're like, oh, look at that guy, he must be one of us, right? Just by assumption. Until somebody cracks a beer bottle over your head and you realize that, the Nazis are getting their asses kicked again.
Right.
Because we were here. right? You know, I mean, it was a personal pastime of me and a buddy of mine. Me and a buddy of mine. I'm not going to say his name, but he used to be a bouncer for one of the most prolific fucking strip clubs in the world. And what we would do is we used to go down to the university district where all the fucking frat boys would hang out.
Always a good time.
If you ever been to the U district, we go down there. And we'd go fucking trolling around those bars until we could find what we used to refer to them as the white hat boys. Because if you remember,
They always
frat
had white
boys.
baseball cap.
What's that?
So they always had white baseball caps.
They always had white baseball caps. And I wonder why, right? Does anybody wonder why these racist fucking frat boy pieces of shit that have gone on to become fucking middle managers at used car dealerships and shit like that, why they would wander around with their white baseball caps, even from all these fucking, you know, universities that don't even have any white in the coloring of the hat
Logo.
and the logo, the team colors and anything like that, right?
UW is purple and gold.
UW is purple and gold, but you'd wear a fucking white hat with a UW on it, right?
Yeah.
And what we used to do is we would go around and just troll those guys until we got into a fight and, you know, do our damnedest to fuck their night up. The easy way to explain it. And it's one of those things that, like, I try to explain this kind of shit to people and they're just like, what the fuck, man? And I'm like, yeah, what the fuck, bro? Like, you don't realize that, like, this shit in the United States is insidious and it's in its blood and it's here. And you go like, yeah, the fucking lib cucks in Washington, the lib cucks, blah, 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 blah. And you're like, I understand that you watched Fox News one time and they told you that Washington State is nothing but a bunch of fucking lib cucks or whatever, you know, nonsensical rhetoric that you're hearing, you know. Washington State is founded on a bunch of fucking hardworking loggers, a bunch of hardworking fucking miners, a bunch of hardworking fucking blue collar people that build airplanes and assemble airplanes and shit like that. You know, how many fishermen do you think are gigantic lib cucks, right?
Yeah, not a lot.
Not a lot. But here's the fucked up thing is that they'll live in Washington. They'll accept the benefits of the expanded freedoms that they have in Washington compared to other states in the union, right?
Right.
And yet constantly criticize it because of the fucking brain rot they listen to every fucking day. And I grew up being surrounded by dipshits that listen to like the likes of Rush Limbaugh, the likes of fucking Dory Munson, the likes of talk radio. When I talk to somebody who's 20 years old now, they don't even know what a fucking radio is, right? This guy spent 10 to 12 hours listening to essentially what could be easily described to the young people of today as 12 hours of Alex Jones rants with zero pushback, no comment section, no ability to record it, right? So that it would exist in posterity, right? So you could go back and realize like the insane shit that Rush Limbaugh would say about for instance, just the gay community. One of the opinions that he would regularly talk about on his radio program was God sent AIDS to kill gay people. Do you understand how fundamentally that insane that fucking is? And I have been surrounded by people like that, right? That would openly throw shit at a kid that was suspected to be gay, let alone ones that actually were, right? To openly harass them, scream at them, run them off the road, do whatever the fuck they wanted to, right? And yet, all that shit gets overlooked because at some point in time, we have to consider those people's feelings now, right? Because there is pushback for being a piece of shit, right? Like that. But the
And
big
then
problem
people
is
get
now
mad.
the narrative has been pushed to the point where like, oh, cancel culture is ruining people's careers. Whose career is ruined? James Woods? James Woods hasn't had a problem in his life up until about 3 weeks ago when his house burned down and he had fucking canceled his homeowner's insurance, right? The only cancel culture that people like James Woods are a fucking victim of is their own goddamn fucking pride, which is supposed to be a fucking sin in your stupid ass religion. Your stupid ass religion says you're not supposed to be proud or you're going to hell forever. But yet, you got American flags on your thong that you wear to the fucking beach. You got flags all over your pickup truck while you're rolling coal down the road, screaming about that some trans person was in a swim meet somewhere, and like suddenly you give a shit about swim meets. And I'm supposed to believe that you suddenly give a shit about swim meets. Like, this is something that Ben Shapiro apparently has been so worried about
Very
for
worried
so
about.
long, is that, oh my God, are the swim meets a level playing field for men and women? He's just been so worried about it. Swim meets is the main function of Donald Trump's concern in the entirety of his life. By the way, the guy who was not allowing black people to rent his apartments that he owned in the 70s. Okay? Do you understand that the track record of Donald Trump isn't the last presidency? It isn't the last 10 years. It isn't the last 20 years. It's the last fucking 60 years of insanity that maniac has been bringing to the table. There's no place in this world that Donald Trump should be taken seriously at fucking all. And to point it out, I regularly show people the fucking Jon Stewart clip from 1999 where he says Donald Trump is an absolute fucking abject piece of shit con man from fucking New York in 1999. This has nothing to do with the fucking presidency. It has nothing to do with what is currently happening right now. They found a fucking figurehead to plant on top of the fact that the fucking religious entities who have been living tax-free in this country for the last fucking 150 years are taking control so you can live under Sharia law till the end of fucking time. So get your fucking burqa out and get ready to put it on and have a fucking whack-ass government agent at every intervention that you ever fucking have. Whether you go to the doctor, whether you go to the bank, whether you go to the fucking grocery store, there's probably going to be a fucking SS fucking the new version of the SS fucking soldier standing there making sure you are acting the way that they want you to act from here the fuck on out, right?
Yep.
And we are fucked. We are sky high and fucked. The guy was giving Nazi salutes at a fucking campaign rally. And people have been sitting around going, I don't, maybe he's saying my heart goes out to you.
That one guy who took
What are we talking about? Elon Musk himself did a my heart goes out to you. Previous to that, there is video footage of it. And you know what he did? He made a heart shape and went like this. Not a Nazi salute. Oh, but maybe he has autism. Maybe he has autism. Maybe he has autism. I don't know. If people saw the incongruency... What's that?
Nothing. Go on.
If people saw the incongruency between the girls on my swim team versus the girls on the other school swim teams, I think folks today would be throwing accusations. Yeah, well, that's true. We had some meets where the other team was made of little girls less than half as big as our burly ladies. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't even know about that. Oh, Joe Rogan is doing it now? Joe Rogan's doing the Nazi salute now?
Right.
I don't know. Let's see.
What cracks me up is these are the same people that say, well, you you shouldn't use your platform to show your beliefs. What's her face, the soccer player from the women's soccer team, she shouldn't have bowed her head or stayed seated during the song, which now I've lost my ability to talk. And
Right.
Copernic shouldn't have taken a knee, but totally okay for the Nazi symbol.
Oh yeah. I mean, Colin Kaepernick isn't allowed to fucking take a knee during the national anthem.
There you go. That's the word I could not come up with.
But Elon Musk can just throw Nazi salutes at national fucking rallies, right? Like at political
Totally
rallies
golden.
on TV, aired, recorded and everything.
Twice in a
Joel,
row,
you should check
by the
out
way. He didn't
Orbit
lose.
Culture sometime if you haven't. I don't think I have. What's a Orbit Culture?
The band.
I don't know if I have. Oh, Swedish metal. I've seen lots of Swedish metal. Let's see. People also search for Trivium. I've seen Trivium. People also search for Bullet for My Valentine. I've seen them. Some of these I've never heard of. Oh, Baby Metal. Lorna Shore. I've never seen Lorna Shore. I actually would like to see Lorna Shore, but I don't know if it would be worth dealing with a show. Oh, In Flames. I've seen In Flames probably 6 times. I saw Slipknot on accident once.
That's how I saw Bjork.
The thing is, like, I understand why people like Slipknot. And the funny thing was, like, a Slipknot song came on the other day on my like random playlist thing. Like I do the auto generate on YouTube, and then I like dislike, and then eventually starts to filter into things that I'm like, oh yeah, this song, I haven't heard this in a while. But then Slipknot came on, and I figured it out at the time why I don't really like Slipknot all that much. And it's because Slipknot sounds to me, and I think it always has sounded to me, like old-timey music. For whatever reason. Like, to me, it just filters into my head, and it sounds like an oldie. And I think it's always been that way. I think it's always been the, like, when Slipknot was new, it sounded to me like nothing new was happening with the music. It was like, it just sounded as if I'm even though it's a new song, and I don't claim that they are copying, like, I don't claim that they are photocopying anybody else's song, right? The thing about it is that it feels old-timey. Like, it feels like I'm listening to like a song from the 70s or the 60s even. Like, it feels like finger wagging. It feels like finger wagging. It feels like finger wagging tunes. I don't know why. It's just how it has always felt to me. Like, now I get that they fucking rock pretty hard, man. So I'm into it from that standpoint. But like, I don't know. I just never, it was just not vibing with me. Like, I think that's what it was. Like, it always just felt like I was listening to, it felt like I was listening to Grandpa's metal. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah.
I feel like I'm listening to Grandpa's metal. I don't know. Let's listen to this for a second. Let's hear. What do they got? Okay. Okay, when does it fucking shred? Does it shred? Long intro. Typical Swedes. Oh. We're building. Oh, we got some rock formations. Oh, here we go. Okay. So here's what's funny. So I want you to listen to this for a second.
I hear it, but okay.
And I want to think about I want you to think about shaking your hips back and forth, okay?
All right.
Back and
can't
forth, back and 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 forth, right? So, I'm gonna listen to this, and I'm gonna listen to some of their albums because I'm gonna take your recommendation, and I like Swedish metal, so who like I'm in, right? But I wanna explain something to you. So I became a big fan of In Flames at some point in time. I it's hard for me to track the timeline sometimes because I've been brain damaged and did a lot of drugs, and it's hard to like piece together timelines. But I became a big fan of In Flames, and I saw them every time they came to Washington. Essentially, if they were somewhere in Washington, I would go to the fucking show. I would figure out how to do it, and I would go to the show. So, like I said, I've seen them probably 5 or 6 times. It's like the first time I saw Gojira was with them. First time I saw Mastodon was with them. First time I saw what the fuck is the name of that band? I can't remember. I can't remember the name of the band. But anyhow, like the first time I saw In Flames, there was probably 500 people at the show, something like that. It was at the off ramp the first time. After that, it was at the Showbox. There's probably 3,000-4,000 people there. Like Showbox downtown, sold out. Probably just packed. I mean, it was asses and elbows and shots and cocaine. You know, it was rock and roll. And then after that, they had to play at the Showbox Soto. I don't know if you guys have ever heard anything ever at the Showbox Soto. It is a fucking rectangle of sound death. It is unbelievably. It is unbelievable how bad the acoustics are at the Showbox Soto, but it's still better than not seeing your favorite band. All right, I'll put it that way. It's technically better. It's technically better than seeing your favorite band at an open air stadium, because an open air stadium is also a fucking void of nonsense. Mickham says Meshuggah. Yes, I have seen Meshuggah also. I've seen Meshuggah like twice. My buddy Blaine was a huge fan of Meshuggah, so we would cut out of work and go to Meshuggah whenever they were in town. Entombed. I don't know if I've ever seen Entombed. I don't think I have. That's a good one though. I haven't seen it. Anyhow, I'd gone to multiple In Flames shows, and one thing that I noticed is that they had the same sound person every time. And when I went to see them at the Showbox, the first time I think I met the soundboard op in the upper bar area. And then when I saw him at the Showbox Soto, I went and I kind of complained to her that I was like, dude, the fucking sound here sucks so bad. Like, what the fuck? What's the plan? And she was the person that tuned me into the fact that, like, if you're ever at a big show, go to where the person that is operating the soundboard has been set up, right? So if you happen to go to like a big stadium show or something like that, look around and see where the sound booth is, because the sound booth is put in the spot where the sound is going to be the best, because that's where the mix is going to hit the person at the soundboard. Stand right in front of them if you want to hear a good sound. And she was very attractive, so I would typically stand behind her. I'll put it that way. And the funny thing is it clued me into the funny timing of metal, where there can be like this absolute squiggly do mayhem fucking going and double bass pedal with weird pentatonic fucking madness and what is it, Beato, right? Beato. Like, oh, we're doing pentatonic scales and we're going fucking crazy and our timing's all insane, but the soundboard op would shake her hips back and forth to actually find the actual like slow beat of what is happening. And so it's that whole boom, 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 boom that's happening in the background, which is essentially like that's where the metronome is. So that even though this might be in like 5/16 is what the time signature is, it's still dun 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 to keep track, because like the person at the soundboard is essentially doing a metronome to making sure that the mix is correct as the songs are going on, right? Because even in a live performance, you still have to actively mix on the board, because there are certain times where the vocals are going to change. You're going to sit, even with like, especially with like a metal band where it's like, you're going to have this crazy sound effect.
He's up on the mic. He's back.
Yeah.
He's switched over to sing with somebody else.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, oh, here's a harmonic part where, we have to push the vocals from the backup guys or the drummer. Like Mastodon's a perfect example where like they switch singers. Like every song switches from lead singer and the other guys are doing backups. So then you have to switch the mix to make sure that, at this point the drummer's the lead singer and you have to move it around. Right. So, that was where I really got clued into like where that fucking polka, I call it kind of like a polka beat, like where the polka beat sort of exists, and it's the hips back and forth. I mean, she was an amazingly attractive ass. I'll just put it that way. I mean, she's just built like an hourglass figure, and then hey man, I like watching the guys rock out super hard. But if you're talking about the difference between a sweaty dude on the mic, I mean, I get to hear the music. Like I was there to hear the music anyhow, so I don't really need to see them perform like on their guitar in order to hear it. So I'll put it this way: if you get to look at somebody's nice ass and listen to good music, it's a fucking double bonus, right? So
metal chick eye candy, and
yeah, it's a reality, right? It's like a reality that humans live in because we're living in this weird what do you call this, like a fucking meat vehicle that we live in, that it's just we're humans, right? Like
meat suit.
And everybody likes to admire the fine form of humanity, right? It's amazing how much people are putting their damn heads in the sand over this and jumping down people who point out that in the 1940s Germany, free speech was weaponized to spread continued Nazi propaganda, and they refuse to even admit the same thing is happening now with using free speech as a platform to radicalize people. Yeah, I mean, it's ultimately like the reality, and I understand. There's a certain group of people out there that are like, I'm so fucking tired of hearing politics and this and that and the other thing. And they're like I get where the people are coming from that are like, I came here to listen to you talk about fish tanks. And it's like, look, man, if you want to hear somebody give you an hour dissertation on something regarding a fish tank, I've said this 1,000 times and I'll say it 1,000 times again, is that you should join a local fish club. If you don't have a local fish club, make a local fish club. Just fucking invent it. Get off your fucking ass and go make it if you don't have one. Get off your ass and go join one and go down to the fucking monthly meetings where more often than not, they're either going to have a local speaker or they're going to have a recording of a speaker, or not a local speaker, a speaking expert. That's either recorded or live, right? Like maybe you'll actually get to meet Tom Barr, right? For instance, maybe you'll actually get to see Tom Barr do a presentation. That's why we went down to Sacramento. We went down to Sacramento to see some of the presentations from the experts that they brought in. I fully didn't agree with one of the experts that they brought in, that I don't believe he's an expert. So there's that. One of the experts that I was excited to see didn't make it because they were sick. And if you want to go do that, get engrossed in that. You're going to meet local fish keepers. You're going to be able to trade for stuff that you want to put in your aquarium, like plants or rocks or sticks or people's old used lights or people's old used filters or whatever. Or if you want to put fish or shrimp or snails or whatever the fuck into your tanks, there are local people that are doing that are going to have extra, right? It's going to come up. I have tons of extra plants. I recycle them. I feed them to my chickens because I feel like chickens are more deserving than the fucking local fish club here. I don't want to drive is basically what it boils down to. I don't want to drive. And I'm in a weird position where I have to answer questions about a whole bunch of other people's lives that I don't want to answer, right? And so I constantly have to go back to like, hey, I'm not here to gossip about a company I used to work for or people I used to fucking be friends with. I'm not friends with them anymore. I don't give a fuck. Go bug them. And then the reality there is that all of a sudden I'm the asshole. People go, oh, he was being an asshole. Oh my God, what a fucking asshole. Like, no. I was telling you, I don't want to fucking talk about it. You were coming over here for some fucking gossip, and I'll let you know. Don't have anything to do with them. Don't want anything to do with them. They can go fuck themselves. I hope they fucking drive their car off into a fucking river somewhere. I don't give a shit, right? But local clubs are great. Go to them. You're not in the position that I'm in, right? You're an anonymous fucking fish fan. You just go there, and people will be like, oh, you're that guy. You're that guy I've never seen before, right? Me, on the other hand, I got to answer questions about all sorts of insane shit. People ask me questions about people's personal fucking goddamn relationships and shit. I don't fucking know. I don't know. I don't care to know. I don't want to know. Right? I went to fucking Tom Barr's house when I was in Sacramento. I shot a video of him fucking working on his bonsai trees because that's what I wanted to fucking film while I was there. Maybe someday I'll edit it and release it. Maybe I won't. Does it matter? Probably not in the long run, you know? So it could be done. You could do it. You could go do that, right? People come here and they get all fucking irate at me and go, it's unbelievable that you're not just talking about the one fish that I wanted to hear about and that you would just be talking about the one fish that I was going to want to hear about. That's why I was fucking here. And I go, okay. So after saying that, I would like to point out the numerous comments, the numerous messages, and the numerous fucking emails that I've gotten from people that said, thank you for talking about this politics shit because I can't deal with Fox News. I can't deal with NBC. I can't deal with fucking CNN. I can't deal with fucking OAN or all these other fucking insane billionaire propaganda fucking machines. And they came here and they had an opportunity to listen to somebody that was like, hey, Elon Musk is a fucking Nazi and Trump supports him to just dismantle the federal government. And he's actively doing it with a squad of dipshits that can't even launch a secure website. Okay? Do you understand that the doggy, and yes, I understand somebody wants me to pronounce it Doge. Fuck you and your fucking stupid bullshit. It's called doggy. Eat my dick all day long forever. I don't give a fuck. They couldn't launch a website. It's been hacked twice already. All right? These are the air quote experts that are going through your Social Security information. They're going through the Department of Education information. They're emailing all sorts of people to fucking fire them. Why? Because they're doing whatever the fuck they want. And if you say, oh, well, they're not actual Nazis. I go, I understand that they don't have a time machine and they haven't done Operation Project Paperclip, Operation Paperclip again. They don't have a time machine where they went back and got some of the Nazis and came back here to the future. But also, maybe they do. Who the fuck knows? Mm-hmm. But let's fucking talk for a second. And I go, they're Nazis. And you go, they're not actual Nazis. And I go, I understand that it is not 1939 in fucking Germany. I understand. Is that what we're talking about? Yeah. And they go, no, that's not what I'm talking about. They're not Nazis. They just want to do stuff. Okay. Well, why did Elon Musk just fucking assign himself a $400 million deal to sell fucking armored electric trucks to the U.S. government? If that's the case. Right? Why did they cut off funding to fucking USAID and then South Africa come out and disavow the United States, that they're no longer going to fucking do business with the United States anymore?
South Africa is like, no.
Because Elon Musk was raised in apartheid and was taught that black people and other people are less than him. Okay? He was taught that, he was raised in that, and he has been privileged the entirety of his life. He illegally came and worked in the United States. He did not immigrate legally. He did not follow the path of immigration like these fucking conservatives claim to be the only reason that they don't want Mexicans to come into the country, right? And here we are, right? Here we are. He has immediately shut down U.S. aid, the thing that is credited for finally stopping apartheid in South Africa. The one program that you could point the finger at and say, what stopped apartheid in South Africa? It's U.S. aid.
Heartbreaking.
And here we are. And here we the fuck are, right? Anyhow, it is 4:39 p.m., which means it is way too fucking late for me to be on the internet, even though it is President's Day. It's a holiday, so Olivia has not been in school today, and I don't need to go pick her up. But my wife is really not feeling well today.
Aww.
She's not feeling great for reasons I will explain to Witchy Cat after the show when you motherfuckers aren't here. Yeah, so I don't know. We're all gonna die is basically how this is gonna go, I think, pretty much. So good luck. Wait, sorry. Sorry, I muted the mic. Good luck out there, and here cues the end of the show music. It's much easier for Witchy Cat when I tell her the music is going to come.
Shut up.
Wait, Witchy Cat, are you here? Hello?
I am here.
Hello? Okay, the music is about to play.
Is it going to play? Are we going to see you Friday? Because we made goal.
Prepare yourself. Did we make the goal?
We did, thanks to Lady Guinevere.
It says 10 teal super chats. That's the goal.
She gave you $50.
We don't know about $50.
Yes, we do.
It says 10 teal super chats is the goal.
Mm-hmm. $50. You got your $50. We see you Friday.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
All right, fine.
Who knows? I might throw myself into a goddamn volcano by then.
Better not.
Does any of you motherfuckers know where the closest volcano is with magma?
Yes.
With
Do you
lava?
need an active one? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I need the magma to eat my body up. Hey, you know what's really cool about magma? It's actually liquid rock, so it actually kind of performs similar to a rock. So actually, when you fall on it, it's like, you know, it's not like water. It's not like liquid. People think it's liquid because it's moving around. It's not like water. It's like a rock that's moving around. Does that make sense? So if you were to jump on it, it's still solid, right? And it burns the fuck out of you. You will burn and fucking die. But it's like a rock. It's not like falling into a pool of water, which people think it's like falling into a pool of water. That is from the movies. The movies make you think, oh, you just fall plunk and you plunk right in there. No. Guys, it's liquefied rock. It's still as dense as a rock. So isn't that fucking amazing? Isn't that amazing? And also proof that God's not real. Fuck yourselves. Bye-bye.